Kadkhoda. I'm currently a senior in high school in Santa Monica, California, and I've been participating in MathTrain.tv for the past 6 years under the name of Paul. This all began in 6th grade, 2006. We had this website called MathTrain.com, which is kind of this forum for his students, Mr. Marcos' students, that we would have the homework posted there, and if we had any questions we could ask one another. There was a little instant messaging thing that we could talk to one another with. I mean, there would be times that I would just be sitting there on the computer just kind of talking to my friends on mathtrain.com. So it not only served the purpose as a math sharing ideas, but if we had questions to one another we could ask them that way. And I had a question on my math homework, so I instant messaged Mr. Marcos, and within the hour I got, instead of a typed response, I got a video of him explaining to me how to do this math problem. It was as if he was there, like I was in the classroom and he was explaining it to me, and that's incredible to a 6th grader to receive a video from her math teacher explaining how to do the homework. The next day we went into school and I had told everyone that I got a math video from my math teacher, so I was a little bit famous at the time. And Mr. Marcos explained to us that this was called a math cast. So the way that Mr. Marcos made them is he had a tablet PC, which is a computer that you can write on itself, and Camtasia Studio, which is a screen recording software. So Mr. Marcos would record the screen and he wrote out the problem for me, and I could hear his voice explaining it to me, as well as the numbers that he was writing, but I couldn't see his face. That's kind of what prompted this interest in making these math casts, because we were so intrigued by them that us students started to make them instead of him. This movement, we kind of call it the Kids Teaching Kids movement, because at this point, Mr. Marcos doesn't make any videos and only kids do, and I think maybe by the 3rd week, Mr. Marcos didn't really make any of the videos anymore. If you go to the website, you can see that every video on there is made by a student, which is really cool. And I got involved the same way that most kids got involved, that I would go after school and ask Mr. Marcos, hey, can I make a video? And he would say yes. Which, I mean, it sounds like a simple concept that a teacher would say, yes, you can definitely make this math video. But a lot of teachers wouldn't be open to that. And something that was really cool about that class is that I was trusted as a student, as a 6th grade student, that is a 12-year-old little girl who definitely had the ability of dropping this brand new tablet PC or making a mess or even maybe opening Mr. Marcos' email accidentally. Like, I had the ability to do all of that, but Mr. Marcos was able to see past that and trust me with this computer. And because of that, I was able to create this awesome work and make these really cool math videos that would have never really been created before. When you're younger, you're always treated as a kid, and that's not a bad thing, but when I was able to enter a classroom where I was treated more as an equal, as opposed to just this insignificant person that was listening to a teacher rant at me all day, I felt more engaged and encouraged to listen into this discussion that we were having about math, and more encouraged to go in after school and ask him questions if I had questions. Just when someone respects me, I want to respect them back, and I become more interested in the topic that we're discussing, more interested in them, and more interested in the class in general. So when I have someone respecting me with their expensive brand new computer, I'm going to treat their brand new computer with the utmost respect and make sure to never ever do anything to harm it, because I know that I'm being respected and I'm given this privilege, and I wouldn't want that privilege taken away because of this.
Hi, I'm Paul, and today I'm going to teach you how to multiply fractions. So, let's multiply the fractions 2 7ths times 5 18ths. There's a faster way you can multiply this. Instead of doing 2 times 5 and 7 times 18, you could cross cancel. To cross cancel, you divide. Because 2 can go into 18, you figure out how many times 2 can go into 18. And in this case, it's 9. So you cross that out and write in 9. And then 2 goes into 2 one time, so you cross it out and write 1.
Well, making the videos themselves have helped me tremendously just by making the videos, because as I make a video, I'm forced to think out loud and say my thought process why I'm doing something. So if I weren't to know a step in the process, I would be able to discover it as I'm making this video. So by making this video, I'm able to master a concept. These videos weren't only beneficial to those who are creating them, they're beneficial to everyone. I mean, I was at a conference and I discovered that one of my videos had over 30,000 views. Like, this is something that I would never have expected to even see the light of day. I kind of was just making them for fun to show my friends and my family and, to help me. And it just so happened that 30,000 people in over 50 countries are able to use these videos on how to learn. And they're often more helpful than a teacher teaching you, not because the teacher isn't incredible, but just because us kids have a different level of intelligence and we have different thought processes than my superior teacher who's gone through all these levels of education. I mean, both my friend and I are in the same grade, so we understand things the same way. We have this kid language, kind of. So being able to hear something explained from a different perspective from my peer as opposed to a teacher is often way more helpful. If you look on mathtrain.tv, you'll see a lot of collaborative videos, which is kind of falls under the theme of collaboration that we're trying to create here, but there's one that my friend Bob and I made. I'm Paul on Mathtrain.
Hi, it's Bob and Paul again, and we're back in action. So, the first thing we're going to do is round a decimal. We're going to round the number 1.8562. So, Paul, where is thousandths place in this number? It's the 6, right here. Okay, so how do we round that? Don't you remember my rhyme? Oh yeah! If it's 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, keep it down low. And because the 2 on the other side on the right side, yes, is below 4, we're going to keep it at 1.856. That's our answer. This is the first exercise we're going to do. Now, we're going to do the same number, 1.8562, but we're going to round it to the hundredths place. Hundredth as in THX. Now, where is the hundredths place? The hundredths place is at the 5. So it's right here? Right there. So, the saying, everyone knows it. If it's 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 below, keep it down low. So, we're going to look to the right of the 5, and we see a 6. That's higher than 5, so we're going to give it a shove. Up to 6. Cool. So the new changed answer is 1.86. Oh, that makes sense.
And if you listen to it, everything in these videos is unscripted and live. And if you listen to it, you can hear us correcting one another while we're talking and kind of bouncing off each other's energy while creating these videos, which is, it's really cool to listen to because you can hear, I made a mistake, so Bob chimes in and is like, oh, you mean this, clarifying, and you can really see our thought processes, and when you watch them back, you can see that we're able to work together collaboratively to still make one video and both be able to learn from each other just in the video. So that's, the kid language comes back in play for that, because even just through making the video, the kid language applies, because we're listening to each other talk, and she understands that I missed something that someone else may not have gotten, so she'll just slip it in there. And sometimes if she makes a mistake, I'll be like, oh, are you referring to this part right here? And we're able to clarify for one another.
So now, are we going to keep going? Yep. To the tenths? We're going to go down to the tenths place. Now, the tenths place is the 8th, right? Of course. So, the saying is, 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, keep it down low. And we look to the right, and it's a 5. 5 or above, so we're going to give it a shove up to 9. So our new answer is 1.9. Now, we're going to round it to the 1 place. Oh, the 1's place? Yep. Can you do that? You can. How do you do it, Paul? Okay. The 1's place is right here. and give 1 a shove. And it's going to turn to 2? Exactly. So our new answer is 2. That's it? That's it. Okay, well, I'm Paul. And I'm Bob. And we are out.
I think students should definitely partake in their own learning. I think that students should be engaged and want to learn instead of having to learn. Because sometimes there's this feeling that you're forced to be at school, that you don't want to be there or do anything, and we don't really have this drive to learn about this new subject. And when you incorporate new things like making math casts, you'll have kids coming after school to make them, and it's not like it was given to me as an assignment, or any of us as an assignment, or extra credit. Nothing was really offered for it, except for the satisfaction of making a video. And, I mean, to be able to own my own learning, I have to be able to want to be there and want to learn. And when something's kind of forced on me, like writing a 10-page term paper, which could be interesting, I don't really want to do it because it's being forced upon me, and it's kind of against my will. Even if I wanted to do it, I had to do it. As opposed to these videos, I didn't have to do them, so it was more fun for me to do them. These screencasts don't only have to be used for math. There are so many other ways that they could be incorporated into the classroom. Teachers could use them as a grading mechanism to record comments on a paper, or in language classes to provide pronunciation techniques. And all of these ways, I think they're all exhibited on mathtrain.tv if you want to check that out and look at some new ways to use them. I used to think that it was completely okay to go into a classroom and not really be involved and just have a teacher lecture to me and then leave. And then through this experience, not even as much in the beginning, but just through my years of seeing what has happened with this, I've realized that that's not the way it should be. A classroom is an interactive place, and ultimately, I think the main goal is for me to learn something. And it's not going to be easy to learn something if I'm not engaged and involved in my learning, which is something that these math casts allowed me to do. I was allowed to be engaged and excited about what I was learning. So us students are the ones that should be wanting to be there and wanting to do things, and that doesn't really happen when we're just being talked at. Okay. It also really never occurred to me how much work a teacher has to put in. I always thought that it was kind of like, I have so much homework, I have so much stuff to do. And through this, I realized that educators work just as hard. And to make the learning experience, to heighten the learning experience, us students and the educators have to work collaboratively to make it as best as it can be. Because if it's just a one-way street, it won't work out. Because Mr. Marcos was able to invite us and make us excited about this project, I was able to become excited and put in my effort just as much as he put his in. And together we created this incredible concept and website. And it was through this collaboration that this happened. And that's what education is supposed to be. That was the way that I was able to own my learning. As students, we should be able to go up to a teacher and express our interest in having this hands-on learning. And I know from going to all of these conferences that there are thousands of teachers who want to incorporate this into a classroom, and it's our job to find them. Just because one of your teachers right now doesn't do something like this doesn't mean that he or she doesn't want to. It's our job to go out and seek for this type of learning as much as it is their job to provide it for us. As adults, you always get to hear your colleagues' perspectives on how to teach one another and what ideas are shared in the classroom, but sometimes it's difficult to get the student side, and that's what I want to provide for you, because it is very, very important for us to be able to learn and actually understand material as opposed to just memorizing it. And these innovative and hands-on things are the things that the ideas and concepts that let me understand what I'm supposed to be learning instead of just memorizing it. Being able to be a part of this reform on education and the way we view classrooms and how students should own their learning, as well as teachers being able to help us own our learning, is incredible. And I can only wait to see how much education will continue to evolve and become more powerful for us students in the future. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to me, and I'd really like to thank Mr. Marcos for impacting me in this way and helping me form my views on education, and Wesley Fryer and Ginger Lumen for providing me with this opportunity to speak with you all. My name is Paul, and Paul is out.